Did you notice that when you said that, when do you just stop caring? I think there was about 4 people who went, oh, yeah. Like there's some people, I think you might have just articulated something that maybe a number of people feel even here. It's very, very interesting because it feels like such a struggle, doesn't it? We're here and it feels like the organization itself is somehow orchestrated itself to support us to stay down here. There's nothing much around you in terms of its structures or even social networks that is inviting you up. Yeah. And yet, actually, that is the essence of it. It's true that some organizations might be more orientated toward the explicit invitation to come in and live in their creative self. It's true, some organizations might explicitly require or invite you to do that more. And yet, ultimately, the migration from here up to here is a personal decision. But one thing I want to mention that you said earlier that I just love the way you said it is most of our learning though is it's a social experience. Now we understand, because I've done some research on this myself, much of the learning we do is not done just in the cubicle of our own mind and body. We do it with others and in relationship to others. Some learning theorists suggest that it's virtually impossible to grow or even know you are growing unless you're in some sort of relationship with somebody. And work is highly social. So I want to acknowledge that. This is not just a personal challenge. The challenge is, can we grow our collective leadership? And if you were with a group of people who together owned and bought that this was our challenge, so much easier and better to do if you were with a group of people around you who are owning it as their intention. So that's what I really loved about what you said. And I want to acknowledge that sometimes, though, there is an aspect of leadership development which is indeed pretty personal. Right down to it, it's going to be, do I really want to grow? And if you really do want to grow, if you really are listening to your own need for growth, because I'm convinced everyone does have a need for growth, it's just sometimes we're tuning into that need or not, then as you do that, you will find yourself resonating with and somehow heat-seeking out others who have that same desire. It's incredible. And then you found someone else who can resonate at that frequency and support one another to make this transition. Deeply intend to grow. Deeply intend to grow. As strongly, I want to let you know, as strongly as your feelings of stress are, as strongly and deeply feelings of anxiety, we must match the intensity of those feelings with our intent to grow. Don't let your intent to grow be dwarfed by the intensity of the fear that you're feeling. Yeah. So we want to fuel that desire that you have. Fuel it, feel it, become aware of it. Yeah. Give it air. Give yourself times during the day just to remind yourself that you're on a journey of growth, that this whole work gig might even have, here's a crazy idea, is it possible that this whole work gig you're on actually just has one big primary agenda, and that is to support your growth? Is it possible you're in the job right now that's been handpicked somehow for you right now just to support you growing? And could there be anything more important? Is there anything more required in our world than adults who are really growing? Is we simply can't solve the complex experiences, we can't solve the complex problems of today from this mindset. We're out of our depth. We're in over our heads.